as we finished last night, our pack, again, from two separate angles, had approached the ritual site in the woods that initially was discovered by Lenexia and Aaron. After spending some time debating what to do, it is now technically the second day of their investigation because they spent a long night going over some materials. Tempers flared and laptops were destroyed. Drives were destroyed. I think one person in particular is becoming more and more cemented in their levels of dislike of what they are, seeing the tempers of other members of their pack flare. And so we had some interesting discussion. The decision was made, though, to return to the site of the ritual and see what was going on in the Umbra. The goal was to perform the rite of shadow passage, which Fenton is knowledgeable on how to perform, and enter the Umbra and do some investigation on that side. When they arrived, they found the place was cordoned off and being investigated. Finally, the police had discovered what had gone down. There was a brave move by Zeev and Aaron to Aaron. Man, it's not Aaron. Aaron to drive up right to the investigation site and
not my choice, that one.
Not Aaron's choice. Aaron ducked down into the wheel well and kind of hid out of sight while Zeev got out and tried to basically fast talk some information or clearance to be there out of the techs that were working on scene, but they were driven away. And Lenexia and Fenton actually approached the site in wolf form, and while Lenexia and discovered the site was under investigation as well, there were several techs in the clearing taking evidence and measurements and recording and all that wonderful things that CSIs do. And there was a detective there kind of marshaling everything, which Lenexia confirmed was just a normal human being. Nothing untoward about the detective, at least. So Lenexia, I think, rightfully considered finding a place to hunker down in the woods. And it was my understanding your intention was to wait until the investigators left so that you all could then move into the clearing and kind of take a look around and think about doing your ritual. But while she was looking around for a place to hunker down, once she came back to where Fenton was, I guess standing is still the appropriate word, even for someone in the form of a wolf, Fenton was gone. And that is where we left off. So I think we'll start with... let's start with Lenexia in the woods. Let me change our scene here. Excuse me. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Yeah, we're changing. Okay. So, it is still raining. It is still thunderstorming. And you are standing at the spot that Fenton was moments ago. His heavy lupine paw prints set into the mud on the outskirts of the clearing, which is still populated by various techs and the detective looking around.
I think obviously, because I would have been sniffing around, looking at tracks, and you said, I think before we left last night, you said that there was no evidence of him actually moving from this spot, just he wasn't there.
Well, his tracks didn't lead away from the spot. Would you like to make a check to see if anybody else maybe was there and picked him up or anything else?
Yeah.
Okay. So that will be wits and survival. You have a specialty for being in the woodlands, don't you?
I mean, it just says that the survival is the woodlands, but I still only have 1 point in it.
No, that's specialty. So because you're in woodlands and you're using survival, you actually are considered to be 1 point higher.
Okay.
And then you're also going to get 2 additional points for being in lupus form.
So 6.
For trying to scent or see or track something.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so 3 successes. Yeah, you do. It wasn't readily apparent as you were kind of shocked at the disappearance of Fenton, but you do see, you catch kind of a stray boot print in the underbrush. It looks as if somebody was attempting to conceal their movements. And must have done so relatively well, but you catch the boot print, you think you've found a trail. With 3 successes, I would say that you could also determine that yes, it is apparent that whoever is making that boot print is now carrying extra weight as they move away from the location. Potentially Fenton.
So first thing is I will attract a crow down to, and then ask them to like go ahead and see what they can see. I know it's in the woods, but in the general direction that the tracks are going.
Okay.
And then I will howl.
Right next to the clearing?
Yes.
Okay, just wondering. So
it's
yeah,
just
you
to
howl.
get.
What?
Essentially, I'm staying where I've stood where I am, found that out. Right, crow, follow, and then it's just howling, just to get the others' attention.
Sure.
Because of what's gone on here, I don't know what situation they're in, so it is going to be a loud howl to make sure it travels.
Mm-hmm. And what general message do you want to send with that howl?
Just Fenton kidnapped.
Okay. Fenton taken.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell them to come to you?
Yeah, I would say come follow.
Okay. And then you start off following the tracks?
Yeah, I'll start slowly following them.
Okay. So, jumping over to our pair in the, I would say stolen Jeep, but I don't know. Can you steal something from somebody who is brutally and ritually murdered? I'm not sure. So we switch to our friends in the Jeep. You hear Lenexia's howl.
What's that, lassie? Tommy is stuck in a well?
Yeah, as soon as I hear that,
You still understand the general gist of it in human form.
As soon as I hear that, I'll just say we've got to help. I'll wind the window down, shift to lupus form, and jump out the window.
Oh, okay. Are you gonna take a look around real quick and make sure there's no people nearby? I mean, I know you're still kind of backing down the lane, but
yeah, I'll check round. I thought we'd got a bit down the track, but fair enough. Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. Okay. So
Jeez.
yeah.
as Aaron does that, I'm going to look around and say, well, I've had worse dates that ended worse than that.
So, Aaron, you should be able to relatively easily, and I mean, you've been to the Cove, so you know where it is. You're not going to have to make a roll to follow. It'll be pretty easy to find Lenexia, especially shifting into wolf form fairly quickly. Jake, what are you doing? What does Sev going to do?
I think I know the general direction to drive with the car, but I have a phone call that I need to make rather quickly at the same time. So, as I'm driving, I'm going to do exactly what I should not do and fumble around with my phone while I try to speed dial Jessica while paying attention on the road, while having this man turn into a wolf jump out of the window. I'm hoping I won't run over his tail while I'm doing all of that.
Well, see, he darts off into the woods. If you're going to take a car most of the way there, what you're basically going to have to do is go back out down to the highway. You're going to have to drive probably at least a couple of mile markers down and find a suitable place. There's plenty of shoulder room, right, to park.
Exactly.
And then you'll have to follow them in on foot if you're not going to shift, which I know is not... Yeah, right.
Yeah, so, that's going to be the general plan.
Mm-hmm. So, and you will, provided they continue to give you updates, right, with howls or some other method, you should be able to follow them relatively easily. I'm sure you also know by now to keep an eye on the sky to see where Crow is, which is, usually a pretty easy way to track Lenexia at the very least.
Crow Pro will be in the sky always, has to make sense.
Yeah, generally. Let's, no need to make a roll for that. Go ahead and pull out your phone and call Jessica. I don't think we established, I assumed it was relatively, not necessarily super early in the morning, but I assumed you all kind of came up here in the morning after having a night of rest.
Yeah.
I believe, I don't know if we set a day of the week when we started the game, so I'm just going to say that we started on a Friday, because that was actually the day that we started. So it is Saturday, so Jessica will be not at work. So yeah, she picks up her phone pretty quickly, as if she's been waiting.
Yeah. Jess, it's Zev. How you doing?
Oh, I'm good. How are you? Have you found anything?
No, well, we do have news. Remember when you told me that we could find the spare key to Mitchell's house and in that little plant potter outside of the apartment? Well, I don't remember if you told me or if somebody else told me for somebody else's house, and I just went there and looked. I'm not really sure which, but we found the key, and so we went in just to make sure everything is okay. Don't worry, the cats are fine. We fed them. We changed everything in the litter. We made sure there was enough food and water. We got rid of some of the, there was some old fruit lying about and stuff like that. It looks like, Mitchell maybe wasn't there for some time, a day or two, at least, if not more. And we started to kind of look around. We did notice something about him joining, or maybe it was Jay, his significant other, looking for some sort of horticultural club and stuff like that. So you know what? We thought maybe they just went up to that land where the horticultural club is doing reclamation, and maybe he just they were camping there for a few days, got track of time, or, God forbid, got stuck in a ravine or something. So, because we weren't familiar with, what kind of terrain it is, we also took Mitchell's Jeep. I just figured it would be better up there. I didn't think my car would make it into those terrainy things. So, we found Mitchell's Jeep there. Joy's truck. Joy? It's Joy. Yeah, I don't remember his name. Sorry, Jess. Joy's car wasn't there, so he must have went with his car. But the odd thing was, we went up today to that reclamation area, and there was police tape all over the place. Now, no reason for you to be concerned yet. The police didn't answer any of our questions. They told us that they were in the middle of an investigation and we had to leave right away. I wasn't really able to get any more information. I'm gonna continue searching the where I can, because I mean, that horticultural club, it has a lot of area, so maybe I could find another way in. It could be that the police were there for some other reason. That's where I'm at now. Maybe I've told you something that will give you some, idea of what you could do to help me look for him more.
Oh, I mean, I told you when we met yesterday that I had contacted the police. Maybe they finally found something. Thank you.
I'm not giving up. I mean, police don't let me there. I could be something else there. Maybe there was a ranger or something happened with the ranger there that got, lost or stuck. It's been raining a lot, so maybe there was some sort of, land cave-in or something, or landslide, or, well, we live in Colorado, and the outdoors is unpredictable during this rainy season, so we'll keep looking.
Speaking to her, you hear kind of like a click, like call waiting kind of deal, and she says, Zev, this looks like the police department's number.
Oh, take it. I'll wait. Call me back. Call me back. Call me back. I'm waiting by my phone.
By all means. Again, thank you for doing whatever you could. I have to go. And yeah, she hangs up. Okay. And so
that went better than I expected.
You're not unintelligent. You're fairly certain why the police might be calling her right now. Because her, let's just say her son's body was not unidentifiable. So
so you mean it wasn't because somebody found her son's car being driven and they weren't able to reach the son, so they're trying to reach the... Okay, good.
Yeah,
all right. That's at least not that.
I think they have different...
yeah, good. All right, excellent.
Right now.
Hey, listen, I put full responsibility of Mitchell's death squarely upon your shoulders.
Dude, yeah, you should. Absolutely.
We did our best.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was nothing you could have done. It happened before you got turned on to the thing. Don't worry about it. There's other things for you to worry about. So, in your conversation with Jess, that has given you time to go a couple of mile markers down the road, are you going to kind of park this out in the open, or do you want to try to conceal?
Yeah, I'm going to put it in a concealed, more of a concealed place. I don't want it towed.
Pull it off. I mean, it is a pretty rugged vehicle, so you should be able to pull it off the side. Do you have driving at all as a skill?
I barely have walking as a skill. I'm not sure if I have driving. Fair. No, I do have one in driving, so it is a skill.
Sure. So why don't you give me an intelligence and driving check to see if you can kind of get it off the road into kind of a screened position, and then we'll go from there. We'll switch over to Aaron and Lenexia.
Sure.
Aaron, you pretty quickly catch up to Lenexia because, Tony, you said you were moving relatively slow and following the tracks. These tracks do seem to head up into the mountains.
A question.
Mountain specifically, but go ahead.
Just like the scent along with the tracks, is it one that I have smelt before?
Why don't you give me a wits awareness test on, and we'll see. That's a lot of dice, Jake. I thought you had 1 in driving. What's your intelligence?
My intelligence is 4, contrary to popular belief.
Okay, so
or how I depict my character in roleplay.
Right. So keep in mind, that's fair, but keep in mind, you don't actually add rage dice. The rage dice replace dice. So you should have rolled 3 green and 2 red.
Right, so why don't we take the worst of all of that?
Yeah, that's fine.
And put it as 1 success, yeah.
Yeah, it's still enough, right? So you pull off the Jeep off to the side of the road. You feel like you've gotten it far enough away and kind of concealed behind maybe a rock outcrop and some bushes. And then, yeah, you have a general idea of where they are. Are you just going to start heading in that direction and wait for them to contact you again, or? Oh,
no. First, I'm putting on my the rain pants over my clothes. I'm going to make sure to tie the strings tightly around the boots because I don't want water coming in from there. I'm going to get my my rain poncho on and the hood up and stuff. I'm going to open up the Jeep, like the glove box. I want to see, does he have any flashlight in there? I'm going to check the back. Maybe there's a tool case I might want to take with me. If there's a hunting knife in there or something, I might want to equip myself with something that.
That's smart, and with the kind of person that Mitchell is, I will say yes. By going through the vehicle, you can find, let's say, 2 or 3 items that you think might be useful. So I'll give you a flashlight. I'll give you
why is it
a
pink?
knife.
Oh, God.
And maybe a tool or something else, that you think might be useful.
Yeah, it'll be like a multi-pliers tool.
Sure. Okay.
And a flashlight knife, and
Okay.
And
you did say wits and intelligence, so.
I did, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Wits awareness.
Oh, wits awareness.
My bad. Why is my alchemy running so slow? These dice rolls are taking forever.
Okay, so ignore that.
There's a setting if
Well,
you
how-
want. I can give you.
How many dice difference do you have?
Well, it's 5 wits awareness.
Oh, okay. So you only rolled 6 dice. So we'll take 1 of the successes away, right?
Okay.
So that's 2. That's fine. So as far as whether or not you've smelled the person before, it's not someone that you've actively taken the scent of, but the scent definitely does tickle your mind. So it is somebody that's been around, but it's not somebody that you've intentionally taken the scent of, if you take my meaning. Maybe somebody, imagine, so in scent format, imagine like somebody that you've caught out of the corner of your eye. It's kind of the same deal. Like you've caught a whiff of this person before.
Okay.
In fact, you're getting 2 fairly strong scents. 1 scent, and you think this is probably the one that appears to be carrying, you assume, Fenton, has a very strong scent of chewing tobacco and body odor. There's a tinge of peppermint in there. And then the other scent is very strongly like cinnamon and oh man, like leavening bread, but also just kind of a crisp, definitely not a body odor, right? So you're getting these 2 different scents. You feel like it's 2 different people.
Okay.
What's interesting is you still only see 1 tracks. And of course you can smell Fenton, whose scent you are familiar with. Oh, I'll have to have you all describe your scents here at some point. Too bad. I should have asked Fenton what he smelled like.
Chanel number 5.
Yeah. I think that's what I would have been like trying to figure out, but waiting on Aaron and Zev. So as soon as they come, it's just letting them know, and then maybe focus on trying.
Also, I forgot to mention, but when you let out your initial howl to get their attention, and we kind of went to their reaction, the people in the clearing did react. Several of the techs are like shaken because I mean you're close,
Yeah.
They're certain that there's a wolf close to them, and that is kind of, it looks to be terrifying for some of them. And you hear the you're assuming the officer in charge basically barking at them, keep working, it's just wildlife, don't be weak, that kind of thing. But in her kind of like clipped, not high pitched, but definitely more feminine voice, but definitely strong. Like she's got the vocal cords and the lungs to bark at these people over the thunderclaps and the ring.
I think that definitely would have made Lenexia smile, just a little bit. But yeah, it's just like hyper focused on this now.
And you do also notice that she puts her hand on snaps the safety strap on her holster. Dangerous animals.
It's best to move away.
But nobody comes looking for you, even though it's very clear that there isn't a wild animal close to them. They
Why the hell would they do that?
Right, exactly. Right.
So yeah, I'll just continue the track, following the scents and trying to, as you say, there's 2 different scents but only 1 set of tracks. I'm focusing more on the tracks to see if they slip up, like if it ends up being two prints or not, I think.
Okay. So I mean, if you follow the tracks for a bit, I mean, Aaron's definitely caught up to you by now. If you want to take a closer look, I'll let the 2 of you kind of work together, in which case, we'll just call it an automatic success. Yeah, it does look like you can see some additional tracks here and there. These tracks apparently, kind of, maybe strangely, but they're also booted, but they appear to have a heel, because the track is kind of like, it's broken, if you know what I mean. So like there's the flat of the front part of the foot, and then there's nothing, and then there's like a rear portion.
Yeah.
So it looks like maybe they're wearing some kind of high heel boots, which exist. But they appear to have pretty decent treads on them. Nothing about the scent of either of these 2 characters gives you a sense of anything necessarily supernatural, but you can't always tell just from the scent. As you and Aaron kind of find the additional track, Crow comes down from the sky and informs you that, okay, well, I guess I'll roleplay as Crow. Crow lands in front of you and says, it's dirty truck. Dirty truck, tarp in the back. Short run.
I'll just growl under my breath. Need to hurry and try to follow quicker these tracks.
Okay, so if you guys pick up the pace, Jake, what are you doing?
Well, I mean, if I know the general area, I'll be rushing off in that area. I would have assumed that I would have went a little bit more like north, or like if let's say they were heading in a northerly direction, that it would be north, so that hopefully I would be able to cut off. If I know how fast they can run and how far off the trail might be from the highway, then I would have tried to find some place there to go.
I mean, you definitely in your discussion last night would have about where this place was. So you're not incapable, right? You're a pretty intelligent guy. You maybe use your phone to kind of pull up a Google map and get a sense of like, okay, here's where I can park on the road. Here's where the copse is. If I just like make a beeline straight through the woods and bypass like the security station, which is over here. So yeah,
I've actually used it in the past to hike in Vancouver Island. Like it shows all the trails that are there. So if there are any,
right.
I'd probably use those.
Yeah, and you definitely have an app that will show you some trails around here, but it looks like most of the trails, interestingly enough, now that you're looking at that app, the area where Aaron and Lenexia have that the copse is on your trail map looks like a dead space. Like all of the trails in the area, some even look like they might be heading towards it and then they pull away. They all angle away constantly.
I'm going to suspect that this has something to do with the veil and use process of elimination to say that might be an area that is really bad. And I really hope that Lenexia and I aren't heading towards there, because that's the last place on Earth I want to head. And then I'll head there.
To be fair, the veil's not always bad. It protects you. It's just that it, you know, it does sometimes hide bad things. Normal people as well. But not all of it's bad. It's not always. But it's a good, I like the thought process, right? So... yeah, so you start heading in that direction towards where you're certain they are or were, right? The wolves pick up pace. I think, are you trying to like get to... are you just done tracking and just following Crow and trying to get to where the truck is?
If I see where Crow is, then yeah, I'm going to follow Crow.
So you're moving at human speed. You probably...
so I'll give out...
just kind of heading...
I'll give out...
No, but I'm going to do it in a hurry. Like I'm going to like be probably breaking a sweat.
Okay,
as I move.
But that's still not going to keep pace with a wolf.
Oh, I agree, 100%.
Right.
I'll give out a howl. Zahev,
Okay.
where the fuck are you?
If it can, like, do we have? I mean, obviously we have a sense of direction when we're in wolf form, but is it
Sure.
like we would know that Zev would use more of compass based? What would it like? Would we know what north is, or would it be like, follow this?
Yeah, I
follow
mean,
the
so
sun, or
yeah, you would probably describe it that way in a howl, right? It'll
Yeah.
be more about like North Star, you know, that kind of stuff. You wouldn't necessarily be saying anything like go north or head, 15 degrees west by 20 south, right? But like, yeah, you can still impart those ideas to help Zev navigate.
Yeah, because I think as soon as after we've got the information from Crow, we've moved on a bit. It would say in that sort of respect of what direction we're heading towards, because obviously the original howl was just come follow, and because we've moved away, it's just again reiterated, right? We are going this way from where I said I was, kind of thing.
Yeah. So yeah, Zev gets the dual howls, one anger and calling you out for not being there, and the other one with some actual useful information for you as to what direction they're heading.
All right, and
So have we got a very sort of like decent idea of which direction people are heading in now?
No, all
clear.
you know is that Crow spotted a truck
Right.
with a tarp in the back. Now, that doesn't mean that, like, he didn't indicate that it was...
And is Crow leading us to that truck?
He is, yes.
Right.
So
Okay.
that's why I was asking, are you guys going full tilt, or are you still trying to track?
I'm
Or are you
going
just
to shift
following
into
Crow?
Hispo form and
Ooh.
use the extra speed and go full tilt.
Okay. So go ahead and give me a rage check to shift into Hispo form.
Success.
All right. So you maintain your rage, and so you are. See it now. Crow, of course, is faster than both of you because Crow is flying. So yes, you peel ahead. Alexia, are you going to stay in Lupus form and continue to follow, or would you like to also shift to keep pace?
I think, to be honest, I would shift as well. Because Lupus form.
All right. Yeah, I mean, Hispo form is...
Yeah.
It's a fast one. So yeah, go ahead and give me a rage check to shift.
On the ball tonight.
Yeah, success.
So your rage maintains as well. And so now the two of you are just peeling at top speed. For those unfamiliar, again, Hispo is essentially a dire wolf. They are both now in their gigantic wolf forms. It's not the full battle form, but it is a frightening sight would there be any humans nearby. What do your Hispo forms look like? Just out of curiosity.
I would say mine is like my dog form. The hair is all pure black. Looks like the fur is not the best kept, but reasonably well kept. It's sort of like glistening rather than bushy. Yep.
But you no longer look like a dog.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
No confusing.
No confusing
Right.
at all.
I think my Hispo form would be a lot truer to an actual wolf from origin, but I think because the sea wolves is like the whole the grey and black and that, but I think my Hispo form would be a lot brighter, not like full white, but more blonde.
Sure.
So like more blonde and tan, but with the dark spots like down the chest, the tail. So it's still just like this. It's a lot lighter than you would expect, I guess. So it's like, because I thought I view my Lupus form as more like coyote kind of style.
Sure.
So it's like it's just the full-on beefed up version of that. This tan one, but then the dark spots appear because it's such a larger animal and kind of in a way showing truer to what it is. So yeah.
Okay. So yeah, these two massive beasts set off through the forest, and within minutes, you break the tree line on what is essentially like a mountain road. Definitely not highway, right? This is a stone and dirt track, but you see in front of you this kind of off-white, dirty truck with now at this point, you're big enough, you might be able to tell. So you do see that there is something that appears to be tied down in the bed of the truck that has a tarp over it. And you see two people in the cab, a man and a woman. They look over their shoulder at seeing the two of you essentially break the tree line. And while they do, you can see that the man, you're still probably a good distance away and it's still raining, so you can't hear anything. You can see that the man basically is like, and he rams the truck into gear and drives. Neither of them have the response that you would expect from a normal person, right?
Yeah.
So they're not as surprised as they should be.
Yeah, it's
Correct.
panic, but not the correct right of panic.
It's we've been caught out rather than what the hell is that?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So, I'm going to need the two of you we're essentially going to do a chase, right? Since you've decided to make use of your forms, you're going to have some benefits. You get a +2 die bonus for being in Hispo form, but we're basically rolling strength and athletics to try to catch this truck.
Okay.
Because he is now kicking it into high gear, and while the truck may look dirty, it looks like it's well taken care of, and it's designed to move on these dirt roads. So, why don't you both make an athletics and strength test, and I will roll their drive. Come on.
Well, we've got 3 successes, didn't we? I think.
3 successes. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to roll, but my alchemy is moving slow. I think. Okay. So each of you individually got excellent. Here is their driving roll. Oof. So 6 successes.
Wow.
They pull out and they stay ahead of you. They're not away from you yet. I mean, you still see them. As you're driving, as you're chasing them, driving, the woman actually leans out from her side, and she's got a shotgun. And she's gonna take a shot at one of you with this shotgun.
Okay.
And this is probably going to have some interesting repercussions, but that's fine.
Sure.
I'm going to try and
Who's leading?
I'm going to try and make sure that they aim for me by sort of swerving in front of Lenexia if I can.
You certainly can, and I love that you're doing that. So that's actually going to call on your next roll to keep up with them. But yes, I will make sure that she fires at you. Now, the other thing is, do you want to try to be evasive, or are you just going to take it and keep charging?
I'm just going to take it and keep charging. I'm pissed.
Yeah, same. We're taking up
Oh,
that.
are you? Why don't you both gain a rage point then? Just declare that you're pissed.
They've taken one of our pack, and now they're trying to, like, actively just run away with him. Like, what the fuck?
Okay, so with no attempt to dodge out of, you can feel the pellets of this bird shot strike you. But then they start to burn. And you realize that you've just been shot with silver.
Oh, fucking joy.
So
What?
you're gonna take 3 points of aggravated damage.
Okay. Is that another rage point then?
Yeah, I think it is.
I think silver is another rage, isn't it?
Damage, yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Is it my next action?
Not quite. So Jake,
Okay.
in the
Alright.
distance, you hear an echoing, and it just echoes and reverberates quite some distance away from you still. Definitely a gunshot, probably shotgun.
All right. Can I determine how far? Quarter mile, mile? Like, does it seem, or is it just very echoey and reverberating?
It's very echoey. Your best guess is not any place you're going to be able to catch up to in the situation you're currently in.
All right.
So the question is, do you keep heading forward, or do you want to head back to the vehicle?
From what I saw on my Google Maps, do any of those trails look like they were significant enough for a Jeep to go through?
Oh yeah,
no?
several. Yeah, there's several like roads that are listed on there as well.
Yeah, then I'll head back to the Jeep.
Okay.
And
there's one road in particular that you can, looking at your maps, you can see heads further up this particular mountain.
okay, then I'm gonna grab that. I'm gonna run back and oh
Okay.
crap! All that exercise for nothing. I gotta run back.
All right, so switching back to our chase. This time, I think you're going to be down 2 dice because you are, intentionally trying to keep yourself in front of Lenexia, Aaron. So you're at minus.
No, that's going to change. That's going to change right now.
Oh, I hear you.
Oh.
But is that going to change? Like,
Right now, as
somebody
soon as I
gonna
take the shot, everything changes.
go- Would you like to start then?
Okay, so as I take the bullet to my right shoulder, it sort of knocks my leg from under me, and I just sort of roll forward onto my face. As I do so, a massive howl of pain, not just in pain, but also absolute anger, and just totally not pissed off with this whole situation. And I barrel roll forward, and as I do so, switch to Krynos form.
Okay.
And
give
just
me a
go
range
for
check.
it.
Wow.
Actually, I think Krynos
That's a
shift
fail.
is 2. I think it's 2 rage checks.
Okay,
Yeah,
it's 2, is it?
it's 2 rage checks, separate, right? So
another one?
each one has a you're still going to shift, but yeah.
Past 1, so I'll lose 1. I'm down to 3.
Okay, but you are in Krynos form. So since you have decided to take Krynos form for the first time, why don't you recall for us briefly, as we take a brief interlude, the first time that you shifted to Krynos form, your first change. Can you tell us anything about that? Can you recall that as you shift?
Yeah. So Aaron was always a bit of a loner when he was growing up, and his fascination was observation and things like that. And this used to get him into bother in school a lot, and he ended up being on the school paper and writing all the stories about the popular people and things like that. So he used to get bullied a lot, and this bullying reached a crescendo point where he was followed home one day and cornered in a quiet corner of town, and they let loose on him, and this proved to be a very bad idea for them, because this finally tipped Aaron over the edge. And up until this point, Aaron had always been sort of quiet and unassuming, never really let his anger come to the fore, but that anger had always been there. It had always been subverted and output through these journalistic sort of skills and endeavours and things. But for the first time ever, it was absolute rage that he felt that this, all his hard work was being put back on him in this way, and just the absolute unfairness of it all. And he turned, and as he did so, he threw off the 2 boys that were holding him down, and surged forward in his new form, not understanding what we were doing, and grabbed the boy in front of him by the throat, shouting, "Get off me!" Well, I thought he shouted, "Get off me," but what came out was just a massive howl. And the other boys just fled in absolute terror, and the boy that he'd grabbed lay in a pool of blood in front of him. And Aaron fled at that point, and he not only fled the scene, he fled the town, and to this day he never knows what happened to that boy.
And while you never know what happened to that boy, just like almost every time you shift into Rhino's form, you still taste the coppery taste of his blood in your mouth as you surge forward after this white pickup with a tarp in the back. And I think that might be a good place for us to take our first break. So when we left off before the break, Aaron had just, I think, become fed up is the word, and after taking a blast of silvered buckshot to his shoulder, took a dive, rolled, and came up shifting into his full war form, Krynos, the 8 to 9 feet tall beast that walks on 2 legs with massive talons and a lupine jaw. And what were you going to do as you shifted?
Just battle full pelt using my additional physical abilities to gain on this truck and tear its fucking wheels off.
Okay. Now, I love that you did that. It's awesome. But you were at -2 because you got hit, and I love how you narrated that, taking the roll. Shifting is technically a minor action, which is also a -2, but now you're getting +4 for being in Krynos form, right? However, that all cancels each other out, so for this round, this movement, you'll have to just make a straight strength athletics check.
Okay. So it's 3 rage, 1 normal.
Now, what's great here, though, is if you roll a brutal failure on the rage dice, that actually helps you.
There's a brutal.
Is it?
Yep.
Wow.
Amazing. Okay, so that now counts as 4 successes for the brutal, because you're taking physical action, plus an additional success, so you've got 5 successes. Lenexia, you want to make a strength athletics test?
Yes.
Still getting +2 because shifted to Hispo.
7. Hey, I was trying to do that the wrong way around. I was going to give myself more rage than I have.
6.
6.
Jeez.
We're going to catch these bastards, you know what I mean?
After all my theatrics there, you just fucking overtaken me.
Well, to be fair, Hispo is still supposedly faster than Krynos. You're just stronger.
Yeah.
So you guys are tearing up this track, right? Like, I don't know. I'm imagining maybe Lenexia is like, especially from the new scene I put together for it, maybe like charging up rises on the side of the track and leaping through the air, and you're just thundering down the track behind this truck in full Krynos form. The occupants of the truck bed look terrified at this point. However, you're still getting the sense that they're not being affected by delirium, right? Which means one of a few things that you know. It either means that they're shapeshifters, they're kin, which means they can become shapeshifters. there's some other strange kind of supernatural may know about, or they're possessed by spirits. Only in those cases that you're aware of would they not be affected by delirium. So the driver continues his attempt to pull away from you. You actually hear kind of like a chunk and a hiss coming from the truck as he, I don't know, maybe injects some nitrous oxide or something into his driving system, but doesn't manage to pull away from you. So you guys have now pulled up again. You're not quite at them because they got ahead of you last turn. But you're keeping pace, right? So you're moving in, you're closing. Jake, you rush back to the Jeep, and you are driving the Jeep. In what manner are you driving the Jeep to get to this dirt track, which may or may not be the same dirt track?
I look, I'm driving quickly, but so I am speeding, but I'm on the highway, so it's not reckless at this point.
Okay. So since you're not being reckless, I'm not going to make you make a roll. If you want to be reckless and make a roll, I'll let you go faster and maybe get into the scene faster if that's what you're trying to do, trying to catch up to them.
You know what? I think I have a general rule, and if it's between not rolling and rolling, always go with the roll.
Okay.
So I will drive recklessly. So it's driving and intelligence, and I will replace 2 with my rage of 2, so I won't make that mistake again.
Well, since you're driving recklessly, it's actually going to be driving in dexterity.
Oh, driving and dexterity. Okay, well that's even worse for me, so that works out great. All right, so we'll do the rage 2, and that means that I have 1, 2 here. Okay.
2 and 2, that's not bad. 4 is a good dice pool.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so 1 success. As you are, that's enough. I mean, you're tearing down the highway, and you get to the turnoff that you think is for this dirt track, and you turn off onto it. Okay. And so you've found the track. We'll see how long it takes you to catch up. Good news is turns and scenes in Werewolf don't, it's not like it's a 10-second thing. It's whatever it needs to be. So we're going to shift back over to the dirt track.
I fully, the player doesn't know this, but I am fully hoping that we just surprise each other and I crash right into that truck and fly through the window straight into their driver's cabin. I think that would be amazing.
Who knows what'll happen? Okay, so
foiled by the airbag.
Right. We'll go, since he's still in war, go with Aaron again to start. Although, maybe I should go with Lenexia, because you did have more successes.
She'd definitely be in front of me by now.
Yeah, she's in front of you, so what's your goal? Are you still trying to catch up, or is there anything else you want to try to do as a part of your actions?
Well, it's not like they're afraid to get caught. They're not afraid of us per se, in the way that we're used to.
Right.
In the few times that we've come across this, it's a strange thing. So I think, so if as Fenton came across, took the shot, and changed his form, I would have gone off to the left, I think, and going along the edge of the road, going across, like you said, about the ridges and everything. So it's just trying to get.
But if you stay on the driver's side rather than the passenger's side, they're going to find it quite hard to shoot you. To be fair.
Well, that's it. It's one of them. It's either my plan is to either get in line with the driver's side, how.
Although the passenger didn't fire in the last round, and
no.
You're not quite sure why, because you can't see what's happening in the cab of the truck, but...
in relation to a truck, how big are we? How tall are we?
Oh, so that's an excellent question. In Hispo form, your shoulder probably comes up above. If you were standing next to the truck, right? Imagine
Is it like a
standard,
flatbed? Is it like a flatbed with sides on it? Like
It's a pickup truck, right?
Yeah,
so
pickup
imagine
with-
like a standard American pickup truck. Probably a big one because, you know, Americans, they like to buy the biggest pickup truck that they can. In Hispo form, your shoulder and your eye line is above the rim or the edge of the truck. So you can see that there is a tarp covered form in the truck bed that is lashed down. Yeah, I mean, you're big. Your shoulder is probably... So I'm 5'9". In Hispo form, your shoulder is probably just at the top of my head. Like, you are a massive right now.
Okay. Nah, that's sweet. So my initial thought is I want to get in up to the driver's like window, and then essentially my thought is to use my weight. If I can't like essentially ram it, my second.
Oh, you can.
It depends. It depends how the road is. But yeah, my thought is to ram against that, and then when it's a bit more unsteady, drop back and ram against the back end.
Okay.
So that's kind of my goal, I would say.
Sure. As you pull up even to the driver's side window, and as you mentioned, I'm going to have you make an awareness, wits awareness test for me.
You'll get a 2 dice bonus for being in. Oh no, it's not, is it?
It's not lupus, yeah.
No,
so you
not
don't
lupus,
get a 2
yeah.
dice bonus. Hispo is for physical actions.
Yeah.
Good call out, though.
Awareness. Let's 5. 3 rich. 2 normal. Oof, okay.
Okay, so 1 success. This is not going to be enough to save you from this when it happens, but since you got 1 success, I want you to be aware of it happening. You see a flash of what appears to be a lighter in the truck right as you pull up even with the driver's side window, which is now down, right? But go ahead and make your strength and athletics check to ram the truck. I'm assuming you're trying to essentially like throw him off, slow him down, right? So you can, yeah. Okay.
Strength and athletics and +2.
You will get +2 for that, yes.
So that's
Pluralize it.
She just shoulder checks the truck off.
Yeah.
Yeet.
Yes!
Seriously? Wow. So 3, 7 successes. All right. So that means that they're going to be down 7 dice on their driving check for this turn, right? As you just rock the truck. However, it doesn't stop the driver, who's only got 1 hand on the wheel, which is maybe part of the problem, from then chucking a Molotov cocktail right in your face.
Ooh.
Out of the window.
Okay.
That they had just lit. Unfortunately, you didn't roll high enough on your to give you an attempt to dodge it, so it's going to be their roll to see if they hit you.
Okay.
And unfortunately, fire also does aggravated damage to werewolves. To everyone, technically. Not terrible. So you're going to take 4 points of aggravated damage from the Molotov hitting you. And Aaron, you can see as Lenexia, so it should be on your trackers on the lower right-hand side of the screen. So as Lenexia pulls up even to the truck, she rams it, and the truck literally just like lifts off the two wheels on that side for a moment. But then you see kind of a whoosh of flame come outside of the driver's side window, and something shatter against her, we'll say the side of her face and her shoulder. And her face and shoulder and upper body is just engulfed in flames for a moment. Good thing it's raining. So, Aaron, what are you doing?
What's happening with the truck? She's rammed it.
I mean, they're going to have to make a roll to keep it steady, but I'm letting you take your action first.
Okay.
If you want to try to disable the truck, you'll probably be able to stop it right now. But if you just want to, I mean, you could potentially jump into the truck bed to see what's under the tarp. And if it's Fenton, possibly like rescue him.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So first thing I will do is I'll spend a point of willpower to stop myself entering rage because I'm in Cryon's form. To stop myself frenzying. Yep. So that's that. I'll contemplate and just let myself go into frenzy, but yeah.
Well, at the start of your turn, you do also have the opportunity to regenerate.
That was going to be my other thing as well. So, because it's aggravated, I have to make 2 tests, is that correct? To regenerate 1, or do I still regenerate 2 because I'm in Krynos?
So, you're in Krynos. You make a rage check to instantly heal a level of superficial.
It's 2, Krynos gets 2
aggravated
back.
Takes far more effort. Each level requires 2 rage checks. But if you're in Krynos...
So is it 2 for 2 or 2 for 1 is the question? Doesn't really tell you.
So it's 2 per rage check. So essentially, you still have to roll 2 rage dice, right?
But I will get dice. 2 back.
But you will get 2 back, yes.
Okay, cool. It's a combination of the 2 then. Right, yep. 2 rage checks coming up then. That's first one. That's success. And that's second one. That's a success.
Okay, so you get 2 back.
Yep.
Do you
Happy days.
3 or because you get to attempt 2 rage checks?
No, I thought you can only do it once a turn, can't you? But you've got to, because it's aggravated. You have to do the test twice.
Right,
but it gives you 2.
No,
it's right. 2 per rage check normally, but because it's aggravated, you have to make 2 rage checks.
Yep, you got it.
Yep.
That's right.
So that's what I was saying. Whether it were 2 for 1, 2 for 2, or 1 for 2. Yeah.
So it's 2 for 2 instead of 1 for.
Instead of 2 for 1 because it's aggravated.
Instead of 2 for 1. Yeah. All right. So you heal back 2. You got 1 aggravated damage. So what's your action? What are you going to do?
I'm trying to... Hopefully, whatever Linux has done has slowed this thing down a bit. I'm going to try and max speed on it, leap into the back of the cab, release this tarp and whatever bindings are there and reveal what's underneath. And if I've got enough time, if it is Fenton, obviously grab... Well, wherever it is, I want to grab it because it can't be... They're obviously the bad guys. Whatever they've got is probably something we want to save, whether it's Fenton or not.
Okay. So go ahead and make your... Let's see, leaping into the back of the truck. That'd be dexterity, athletics.
Okay, so that's
plus
6 plus 4, so 10. Just 3.
Okay, so 3's enough for you to jump up there. And yeah, jumping into the back of the cab, I'm assuming you grab the tarp and just kind of rip it free.
Yep.
The way that it's lashed down is not going to stop you at all. And yeah, so there is a form lying there. But it's kind of overcast. It's also wet. It looks like it's a wolf, but I don't know. It's hard for you to tell whether or not it's Fenton or not.
Okay.
But at that moment, Jake, why don't you give me a roll for driving? I will also remind you at this point that you do have the ability to spend willpower to roll dice, should you choose to.
Yeah, you know what? I think in this case I will use 1 willpower. That will give me 1 extra die.
Oh yeah, that's true. You can also spend it before to give. That's true. So it's either re-roll or get an extra. Yeah, go ahead.
It looks like it just rolled for me by. Anyway, so I'll accept that. And did it just roll for? Yeah, it did roll for me.
Well,
so
since you rolled your base 4, why don't you go ahead and roll and 3 dice?
I'm sorry.
Right. Since you rolled the base 4, which is your driving skill. Yeah, my volume dropped so badly. Why don't you go ahead and re-roll fails?
Okay,
so just roll 2 rage dice and 1 regular die.
Okay.
For the willpower expenditure.
All right.
Yeah, I think generally it's better to save your willpower until after, because you can re-roll 3.
Okay. Right, that makes sense. Okay, so it's a total of 3 successes with the willpower expenditure re-roll.
Yeah, nice. So you're flooring it up this country track, right? Like you are driving probably better than you've ever driven in your life. And, you know, for all that it's a little ratty, Mitchell's Jeep it's been tuned and he keeps it in shape, and it's almost like he designed it and maintains it to do this kind of like backcountry mudding, essentially. So you are just tearing along. And up in front of you, as you're driving through a break in the trees, you can see what looks like another track that's crossing you and heading further up the mountain. And as you're zooming in on this track, you see a white truck that has a 9-foot tall half man, half wolf in the bed of the truck. Something that you briefly remember having become at some point in your life, and maybe you try to forget. You see a flaming giant wolf on the far side of the truck.
Flaming.
What are you gonna do?
I knew it all along.
Or do you want to try and cut off the truck? Do you want to try and ram it?
Well, yeah. So I see it come. Like I'm going down. It's coming towards the intersection, and I'm heading towards the intersection, right?
Correct. Yes.
I'm going, and I'm assuming it's a small trail. Like there wouldn't be like too much space for 2 trucks to drive.
No.
And I recognize the flaming wolf in any case. I'm going to turn down.
There's a part of you that feels like that's got to be Lenexia and Aaron. I mean, it can't be anybody else, right?
Right, 100%. I think what I'm going to do is probably like throw my car into the trail to block them from even reaching the intersection. And then I'm probably going to like open up the door and run out while the Jeep is blocking. Like, I mean, I'm judging that they're going very fast, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So,
they may not be going very fast in a few seconds.
Right.
And I'm not going to play chicken with them. That was plan B, but thank God plan A looks like it's still doable. So I'm gonna like bring the Jeep in, like kind of cross it, like across the path, so there's no way to go left, right. I'm hoping to find an area, and this is all split of the second, where there's close trees or shrubberies on each side, so they can't veer off the trail. And probably going to scramble off over to the passenger side and try to leap out the passenger door, because I imagine what I'm doing doesn't give me a lot of time to, like, I'm imagining if I open up the door, I'll get T-boned there. So I've got to do the other.
No,
thing.
I think that's a smart move. And with your three successes on driving, I'll give it to you. So you pull out in front. You find, I mean, you don't have a lot of time, but you basically angle your vehicle so that it's kind of blocking the whole track. And you scramble out through the passenger side door, right?
I'm just going to chuck this down to Aaron destroying another one of my things.
They come screaming up the track. And the driver of the truck makes their attempt to swerve and maintain control of the vehicle. And yeah, unfortunately, one success is probably not going to do it. The situation's happening. They only had one die, but fun. The driver rams into the Jeep. Aaron, you're going to need to make an athletics and dexterity check to deal with the fact that you're in a vehicle that has just hit another vehicle at huge speeds, to do whatever you want to do to deal with that. Lenexia, you're fine. You're not in the truck, so you can just kind of dart off to the side and you'll be okay. You might want to, stop, drop, and roll because you're on fire.
Yeah.
But there's that. And also you'll have an opportunity to regenerate because you can regenerate in Hispo form as well. So we can do that if you like. But the white truck careens up the road, slams into Mitchell's Jeep on the side. And it's pretty much dead on. I mean, the front of the truck pretty much hits the front quarter panel of Mitchell's Jeep, where the engine block is. Neither the driver nor the passenger seatbelts. So the driver rockets out over the steering wheel in an explosion of glass and red droplets in the air in the rain as he somersaults over, not really somersaults, more flops over the hood of Mitchell's Jeep. And the passenger, the woman, manages to maintain her position in the truck because, and I think Aaron probably will have a decent enough view of this, she actually throws her arms out and puts her hands on the dash. Which then crumple and shatter as the bones in her forearms rip through her skin in compound fractures as she attempts to maintain her position in the vehicle. And there's smoke coming from the engine block of the truck and also from the Jeep. So Aaron, what are you doing to escape injury with this vehicular crash? Also, keeping in mind there's a form, a wolf.
So who's the violent psychopath here then, Jake?
Unintended consequences. That's all it is.
Yeah. No matter what happens, my primary concern is to make sure that the wolf in the back of that flatbed is safe. So what I'm going to try and do is grab hold of them and bear hug them and roll as safely as I can out of, like sort of jump free of this and then roll, drop and roll, but with them. If I fail my roll, no matter what happens, I'm holding them and protecting them, so I'll take the brunt of the damage.
Okay. And since you haven't attacked anything yet, you're going to make another...
I'll take another willpower, yep.
Okay. So, yeah, we're going to call that a minor action reduction because you're essentially doing two things. So, roll...
Dexterity, athletics?
Yeah, I think dexterity, because picking them up would be strength, but that's kind of the minor action. So do dexterity athletics with just +2 instead of +4.
Okay. So that's going to be 8, 3 brutal.
Oh, and if you wanted to regenerate again, you can always regenerate at the start of your turn.
Yeah, I'll do that I'm technically doing it first, but I'll do it after because I'll just type.
You have to, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, no worries. 3 successes, and then the 2 rage checks.
So yeah, the 3 is going to be enough to get you out of the truck without injury.
Oh, this thing's going. Oh. So I'll lose 1 rage and gain. And well, that's me fully healed now.
Yeah, and for future reference, you can, if you want to, just click 2 rage dice and roll them both at the same time.
Oh, true. Yeah, true. Yeah.
Or 2 check dice, rather.
Yeah.
Okay, so you lose 1 rage, which I think brings you down to 2.
Correct.
Keeping track, right? But yeah, you managed to pick up the limp form and kind of jump and roll out of the truck moments before, or perhaps even just as it makes contact with the front quarter of the Jeep. Tony, did you want to put yourself out? That'll be an action, but you don't have to roll. I'm assuming you want to put yourself out.
Yeah, it'll be start, drop, and roll, and
Jump into a puddle.
Yeah, just get once I stop the chase.
You can regenerate as well.
Yeah, you can regenerate as well if you want to roll a check die.
Oh,
Now you're not in Krynos, so you're only going to regenerate 1, but you can still regenerate.
But she's got to roll 2 dice, hasn't she? Because it's aggravated.
You do have to roll 2 check dice, though.
okay.
Got the hang of it now.
One success.
Okay, so you still lose 1 point of rage.
Okay.
That doesn't empty you, does it?
No.
Okay, because losing all of your rage does have some effects, right? So, especially if you're currently in another form. So yeah, you lose 1 point of rage, but you heal 1 point of aggravated damage from the fire.
Okay.
So yeah, and you don't need to roll to avoid the wreck. You just kind of dove off to the side. And Jake, you're easily off to the side, and you see this carnage happen. You see Aaron, what you assume is Aaron, based on having seen their lupus forms before, pick up a limp form from the rear of the truck and kind of roll off to the side. And yeah, now there's a man laying in the road beyond the Jeep that is now wrecked, in a pool of blood with glass shards kind of sparkling with every lightning blast all around him. There's a woman shrieking in absolute pain in the cab of the truck.
Yeah, I'm gonna shout out to her. Sorry, I'm not great at split-second decisions. And I'll head over to the guy on the floor and say, I guess we should exchange information, driver's license, insurance.
He is not responding to you. He is face down.
No, I'm gonna check him to see if I can administer first aid, something.
So yeah, checking him, he is surprisingly...
surprisingly.
Alive. He is alive. Okay. He's just non-responsive.
Okay, all right. I'll try to stabilize him and stuff. The woman, she's shrieking. She's probably in a lot of pain, and I don't think I have anything that I have for that, unless there's something in the Jeep, like a first aid kit, maybe.
I think while you were looking through it earlier, you probably noticed there's a first aid kit in there.
Yeah, so I'll be grabbing that out with me, and again, I highly doubt that there's anything in there that will ease the pain of shattered, like, elbow bones and tibias or whatever they are that are like, yeah, that was a horrifying description of what happened to her. So I'm just going to look at her and judge if she's going to, pass out from the pain shortly, and that'll, be a problem that resolves itself, I guess.
You see Zev, kind of checking the man in the road, walking over to the truck. What are the other two of you doing?
I know what I'm doing. Do you want to go first, though, Tony?
Yeah. I'm gonna go up to the passenger side window. And I'm just gonna do it because I can. I'm gonna stare at this woman while she's screaming, still in Hisper form.
Okay.
Growling.
So, as you stare at her, and she's screaming, you can actually see her skin moving, and like the blood kind of pulling back up her arms, and she does this, and her arms like reset. She's healing in human form.
You said inhuman.
Inhuman, with a space in between.
I see.
Can I? Like, obviously, she can't get out the car, so I think in this particular moment, I will try the sense true form and try and get a true gauge on her scent.
Cool. Go ahead and make that expenditure. And what's Erin doing?
Let her do that roll first, because she's not going to get to do it again.
Success.
All right. So one success is not, well, does the gift give you specific information? Pulling up your sheet right now to take a look.
Yeah. It doesn't say anything for one success. The minimum's 2.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I figured. Because, like, obviously, this is
Could willpower re-roll it.
human. You could willpower re-roll it. That's true. You got 2 failures, or 4 failures. You could re-roll 3 dice. If you wanted to. That's another willpower point, though.
I've got a method of getting us all a willpower point back.
How do you actually gain willpower back? I can't remember.
At the beginning of a session.
Okay.
Were you down willpower at the beginning of the session?
Beginning of this session, yeah, but I figured because it's a 2-power.
Oh, no, it's every session. It
Oh.
doesn't track, like, so you would have regained that willpower before the session, or at the beginning. So yeah, give yourself 1 point back, because I think you were only down 1 point, right?
Well, I'm at 2 willpower right now. I'm trying to think what else I used it for.
Well, okay.
I lost a
Is that
willpower.
including the one you just spent?
I haven't. No, yeah, that's not including that. I haven't spent any just yet. So I spent 1 for
Okay.
the rage.
So, and which is higher, your resolve or your composure?
Resolve is 3.
At how much? So yeah, you would have regained 3 points of willpower at the start of the session.
Okay.
And thus far, this will be the only point you
Don't
have
recall
spent,
you spending any otherwise, Tony.
Yeah.
Oh, she lost 1. I remember that. And
All right.
you did spend 1 to invoke a gift, so that's why you would have been down at least 2.
All right, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So then, I'll reroll So is it 1 dice for all of them or 1 dice for one?
So you spend 1 willpower and you can re-roll 3 dice.
Okay.
So the 2 of the normals and 1 rage.
Yep. 2 of the normals and 1 rage would be the way to go, so you don't end up with a brutal success.
Oh, but that would
or
be
a brutal
funny
failure.
right now.
Right. Well, it wouldn't help you with this.
It's 2 more successes then.
Okay. So yeah, with 3 successes, you definitely can sense that there's... So these 2 are kin. Meaning they have not yet had their first change. This is what the gift is telling you. But on top of that, they are also currently spirit possessed. So they're essentially being ridden by a bane, which is a bad spirit, or at least this woman is. Who knows if the man is? The man has not yet moved. Now, Aaron, you're up.
Drop the body, turn 90 degrees, leap straight over to the passenger side door, 1 claw onto the bonnet to stop myself as I hit the door, fist straight through the window, grab her by the head and try and pull her head off.
Okay. Go ahead and make a strength and athletics check for me. Or brawl, actually. This is an attack.
Brawl, yeah. It's brawl, yeah. Smooth roll, 5, 9.
Now, keep in mind, your claws only do superficial damage. Bite that does aggravated damage.
Yeah, that's fine.
Although your claws do +3 superficial damage, so I mean, they can wreck somebody.
I will re-roll the 3 dice that have missed.
Oh wow, he's going for the kill, folks.
Wow.
So I'll re-roll 2 greens and a red.
Oh gosh.
Because I'm going to keep that brutal.
Yeah, of course you are. Please roll another brutal. I want to see this happen.
Oh.
So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, 6 plus 3, 9 damage.
Okay. So 9 points of damage halved. So that brings it down to 4. She's already taken that damage, but was in the process of regenerating. So you don't manage to rip her head off, which I'm fairly certain was your intention. Well, you said it was.
I'll pull her out of the cab, though.
Yeah, as you pull her out of the cab by her head, which you are currently still palming like a basketball. You just gonna hold on to her head and start crushing, or are you gonna throw her? What are you doing?
No, my intention was to swallow her head anyway, so I'm just gonna bite her head off.
Well, you don't get to do that quite
No,
yet.
not yet, but that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. All right. So, she will make an attempt, a weak attempt, to defend herself. At this point, I'm gonna imagine she probably can't even speak. Like, you've got your claw and palm around her face. But we'll make a basic attempt to defend herself. It's not going to be helpful. She's trying to squirm free, essentially. Wow, 3 successes. So yeah, why don't you... you're still gonna give me a strength and athletics check to maintain your hold as she tries to squirm free from you. You notice at this point that her arms have fully regenerated, but obviously done some damage to her head.
Yeah.
Have I noticed a shotgun anywhere, by the way, while I was running back between the cabin and the driver to, like, get thrown out of the cabin somehow? Because I did hear a shotgun blast.
You did. You haven't looked in the cab yet. You saw the woman, and when you kind of glanced in there, you didn't see it. Oh, she manages to squirm free.
It does.
Wow.
Wow, even with all that. Crazy. Okay. So yeah, she swarms 3 and she starts running off in. Who wants to go next?
Oh. Well, definitely I'm going to now start, as I see this struggle take place, and if I've noticed her regenerating in this awful, awful way, I'm going to be searching for that shotgun.
Okay, so if you... I don't know, are you going to go around to the other side of the cab, or... He's kind of taking up space.
Yeah, I'll go. Well,
Passenger side door, right?
since I was already like in the road with the driver, I'm assuming that it's going to be more towards the driver's side, anyways.
Sure. Okay. So you were actually closer to the passenger side door. Moved from the driver to go check on, it, right? So you're
okay.
on the other side of the Jeep.
Yeah, no, I'm
You'd probably have to go around the back of the truck.
Okay.
And yeah, looking into the cab, you can see the shotgun is basically in the floorboards. Well, the shotgun. There is a shotgun, right? You didn't magically know there was one there, but you see one.
I'm gonna grab it.
You can grab the shotgun? Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. What's Lenexia doing?
I think the shock, just reeling back from a little bit, the shock of seeing that, because it was unexpected, and then figuring out that she was kin and possessed, and then obviously Erin came over. I think I'm going to attempt to follow her, but I am going to just let out, communicate it's like she's kin but possessed, and then just follow after her.
Okay. So you start after her. We'll come back to that because she was peeling full out. You are faster than her, but next round we'll see if you can get to her before she does something. Okay. Aaron, technically new round. What are you guys doing? What do you want to do now? So Lenexia is going after the woman. Jake has picked up the shotgun from the cab.
I'm gonna head back towards the driver now, because if the woman started to heal herself, I'm beginning to think maybe the driver will too, and he's an unknown. I want to cover him.
Okay, so as you step back around the front of the Jeep with the shotgun and look at where the man was.
Oh, God damn it.
You notice that he's no longer there.
Can I see which way he went? Which direction he went?
Yeah, you can attempt to track him if you want to make a wits and survival.
Yeah, okay.
What's Aaron doing?
I'm going to try and jump on her back and bite her head off.
Okay, you're still going for the kill.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
I'll spend a point of willpower because I don't want to enter rage if I can avoid it.
Well, I mean, you don't have to. You're attacking her, so you don't have to spend a...
No, if you don't kill someone in the last round, you have to keep spending stuff when it's
if you
frenzy.
don't kill something.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
It's quite
fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why my brain thought it was attack. No, you're right. It's kill.
Yeah.
Okay, so... go ahead and give me, a brawl. Ooh, Jake.
Exciting brawl, so 7-9 again, isn't it? Okay.
So I'm going to handle Jake real quick while you make a... Jake, roll brutal failure.
Yes.
Do you want to re-roll or do you want to take it?
I'm keen to understand the consequences of taking it.
I'm not even sure you can re-roll the brutals, can you?
Oh, no, you're right. You can't re-roll. What was it?
Hey, my instinct was right all along.
Yeah. So, brutal failure. In this kind of situation, obviously it works against you. There's nothing really for you to take your rage out on that can be a hindrance to anyone. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say you gain a point of rage.
Okay.
As your rage starts to bubble up and you get angry that you took your eyes off of this person that you assumed was injured and have allowed them to get away. You see no indication of tracks. You have no idea which way they went, and that is just infuriating.
It is, and my skin starts to turn green, and my shirt will come off, but magically my pants will stay on.
Sure.
But yes, okay. And I think I'm gonna call out and just say like, "Driver's gone,"
Nice.
and like yeah, but he's gone, and there's nothing I can do, and I rolled a miserable failure. So, just for my own information, what happens when I have more rage dice than possible dice to roll for a skill? They're just all rage?
They're just all rage dice, yep.
Okay. And
you don't roll additional rage dice, you still roll the
just
amount of dice that you
up
can.
to the amount of die that I had in the skill.
That's correct.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so since she's not currently held, we're going to count this as a standard melee attack, which is essentially an opposed check. So she is running. She's trying to get away so that
She's going nowhere.
No, I figured, but she's going to take that minor action while you're just focusing on attacking. If I can get her dice to be correct. There we go. One more. So you leap at her from behind. And
7 successes.
Ridiculous.
Wow.
So she's got 4, so 3 + 1, 4 aggravated damage.
Oh, you went for the bite. Okay.
Yeah.
So 4 aggravated. Where do you bite her?
Biting her head off.
Okay, you're going straight for like bite the head off.
Yeah.
Got you. So 4 aggravated. That is enough. You go ahead. Describe for me how you end her.
So yeah, so she turns and sort of like tries to run away, and Linexia sort of doubles round the side of me and sort of like starts to make pace with her. I just turn, take sort of 2 or 3 bounds, and then just leap onto her back, using just my sheer mass to outspeed her, outrun her. Leap onto her back, and she just collapses forward and sprawls around that. And I just basically put my head down sideways and just rip upwards.
Yeah.
Fling the head up in the air, and then just catch it back in my teeth and just start crunching on it.
Okay. Now, Linexia, you know that she was being ridden by a Bane.
And I'd said that just before I'd started.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I'm just yelling or howling.
You could have said you were full of dynamite. It wouldn't have made any difference.
I don't think it would have mattered to him.
No, I know.
He's full of dynamite. He's gonna blow.
Linexia is just gonna shout at him like, "She was kin. She was kin."
So.
I'm gonna shout out, we don't have any more leads! The other one's gone in the wind! We can't question her now!
You know that she was ridden by a Bane. And you know that if the form that a Bane is riding is killed, that doesn't kill the Bane. So would you like to use your penumbral senses to see if you see the Bane and potentially follow it?
Yeah, I mean, they'll probably, like, after I've shouted at him, you just see me stop and then concentrate.
Okay.
And then, yeah, I'll try and use his senses, which...
So, assuming you activate it, I believe penumbral senses, I'm pulling it right now, lasts for the scene.
So it's 1 willpower, intelligence, and wisdom.
And it's also a free action, so you're still going to be able to take your action.
What was it?
You're rolling against the local gauntlet, costs 1 willpower, but by having it active, you will be able to see and interact with the Umbra and things that are in the Umbra.
Intelligence, wisdom, 6, 5. You know what, fuck it. I'm gonna give myself a point of rage for that, because they weren't our pack, but I'm very pack orientated. It was how I grew up, so they could have been part of our pack. They could have been part of family.
Okay.
And he just killed him. I mean, I probably will after the fact realize, understand it, but right now it's like, you've just killed what could have been my family. And I've just forgot how many I said.
I believe it's intelligence plus wisdom.
Yeah, so it's 4 and 3, so...
Nice.
Okay.
Against the local gauntlet, which is definitely not higher than 3. Okay, so your senses are flooded as you open them up, and this is a free action for you. Still take action. As you see, kind of in almost double vision, right? You see Aaron lean down and rip this woman's head off and throw it up into the air and then snap his jaws around it, kind of like a T-Rex. That's what I imagined. But as he does that, you see a form rise from the body that's now on the ground. It's a dark, viscous, red spirit that slowly, almost like slithers out of the stump of this body's neck. And as it does, you see its head kind of lift up and it continues to rise as coils of its own body form beneath it as it rises. Wings that are feathery, but like they're extend from what you assume are its shoulders. And it looks at you with a face that's just blank. There are no eyes, but there is a mouth that's kind of a gaping hole that opens up that's ringed with fangs like a lamprey. And it sees you see it and starts to move away. However, it's a free action for you to activate your penumbral senses. And while you have it active, you can interact with spirits. Interact also means murder them. So it's up to you.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? You still have your action.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm going for the spirit. It's just, it's the reason that this kin died, and it's obviously it's going to be the reason why they took Fenton, why they stole our pack member.
Okay.
I mean, I assume like spirits aren't ones to have a chat with.
Oh, you can.
Okay.
If you want to try to immobilize it, also, this thing was inhabiting a kin. You've already told me that upsets you. That increased your rage.
Yeah.
So before we take our next break, I want you to make a decision. To try to talk to this thing, or are you going to try to kill it? And if you try to kill it, you know that spirits are tougher than things in the real world. You might want to consider shifting into Krynos form to kill it.
Yeah. I think it's one of them, like, in the back of my mind, I know, like, we need to find the information and why he did it and stuff, but I think because of what's just happened and seeing it come out and just casually coming out of the body that it's just let die, I think that would push me to just attack. And
Okay. Then why don't we take our break, and when we come back, you can describe your... And we can get your little short story and probably finish out the session with you attacking this spirit.
Okay. Nice. So we'll be back in a few minutes. That's gonna be awesome.
So, as I said before we went on break, using your penumbral senses was a free action. You've decided that you're going to attack this thing, having seen it crawl out of the corpse of what you know to have been a kinfolk, potential werewolf. So, if you want, you don't have to, right? I'm not trying to make you shift, right? You don't have to shift to fight this thing. You can certainly do it in Hispo. But if you're gonna shift, keep in mind that shifting at this point, if you want to make it as a part of your action, if you're gonna attack this thing, is a minor action. So it's gonna take 2 dice away from you. So it's your call. What are you doing? It's your action still. You used your free action to see this thing come out of this corpse. Tell me what you're doing.
I think it would be a change up to Krynos, just because I know that the spirits can be a lot harder, a lot tougher, and it's just, I think the pure angry is just right. I've seen, like, especially just seeing what Erin's form had done, it was like, yeah, this is, this is what's needed. This is gonna be basically just butch it up,
Okay.
Mortal Kombat!
So, why don't you go ahead and make your rage checks to shift, which is 2 dice to shift into Krynos. So 2 check dice.
Okay.
Ooh. Okay, so you lose 2 rage, which still keeps you at 1, if I recall correctly.
Yes, checkers. Yeah.
Right. So the shift still happens. So go ahead and so you're at a -2. If you're gonna attack this out, go for a bite, which is aggravated damage. You can go for a claw, which is superficial. When you're attacking spirits, they generally are resistant to damage, so it's best to go for aggravated if you can. Because superficial damage, if either of you who are in Krynos right now, if you were to get shot, let's say, a bullet, believe it or not, to a werewolf is superficial damage. So you would figure out how much damage it dealt and then cut it in half, and then that's the amount that you would have to deal with. Same thing for the spirit. But as you shift into your Krynos form, why don't you give us a quick flash of memory into the first time you shifted into your Krynos form, your first change, and tell us what that memory is as you kind of fall into your rage and let your form.
So my first time was, I was running, I was just with my pack as usual, just as what you all could see as my lupus form. I was a little bit different, but I was accepted and everything. But on this day, I think there was only a few of us, a couple of us, and we came up against a bigger predator. Now, I'm not familiar with what's actually out there, so I don't know whether it would be like a big bear or a big cat in that sort of area.
If you want to go big, I'd say like a brown bear, like a grizzly, possibly even.
Yeah, so that's something that like generally wolves. I mean, I know they wouldn't try to come across each other, but yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's came up against a bear that seemed more ravenous than usual, and actually engaged and tried to attack us, which was very unlikely behaviour. So we were thrown off at first, and we did what we could. We tried the few of us, like the younger ones, or we tried to back away. Our alpha was there trying to attack, and we took we did what we do to take things down. But in the midst of all this, one of my Litikin was harmed. I tried to save. I went over to help protect them, and then I seemed to, because of my lighter coat, I seemed to draw the attention of the bear. It came for me, and it attacked me. It hurt, but then I seemed to come back angry. I needed to fix this. I know my Litikin had been hurt. I'd been hurt. It's going to hurt more people. And then I seemed, in this moment, to grow. At first, I thought, thinking it was just I had the senses heightened, but I seemed to grow. I grew larger. My fellow packs, my fellow wolves grew smaller, and in almost an instant, even the bear was smaller. But all I could think about was I needed to protect them. So I lunged forward and just ravaged this bear. But in doing so, I also caught the one of my packmates in the midst of all that. So once everything was done, in my mind I thought I'd saved everybody, but I stepped back, looked over, and there was more than one corpse. There was more than one pool of blood merging together. And in that instance, it's almost as quickly as it came, I shrunk back down, but I didn't shrink back down to the height I was. I became different. I wasn't a wolf anymore. And everything changed. They were scared of me now. So that was my transformation to Krynos, then back to human rather than lupus.
Nice.
That's the first time going into human as well.
In this moment, explode into your Krynos form. As often happens, you can still smell the rank, almost diseased smell of the bear that you had wrestled with. And as your talons extend from your claws, you can still see kind of a phantom of the blood of your Litterkin on your hands as you leap at the spirit before you. So go ahead and roll up that brawl and strength attack. You going for the bite or the claw?
Bite. It's literally just thinking of jumping and biting. The quickest way to try and immobilize it, so I can do basically just keep on going at it. Mm-hmm. So strength and
+2, because you did shift as a part of this action, so you're only going to get +2 instead of +4.
Okay.
For this attack. So Aaron and Zev see Lenexia shift into her full war form
Holy shit.
and leap at Aaron, actually, but not aiming for you. And she seems to your perception, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but knowing what you know, you can guess what's happening. She seems to run into something that is in front of you that is solid, but not for you. As she makes just an amazing strike. Is that 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 successes? And this bloodworm winged spirit tries to weave out of the way as you strike at it, and just does not at all. So let's see, you got 7 successes plus 1 for the bite. All of it's aggravated, so 8 aggravated damage. Describe for me how you destroy this spirit.
So, you said, was it turning? It was trying to. Was it back up? So, was it facing me or not? That's essentially.
It was facing you, yes.
Yeah. So essentially, I just leapt at it, full force. Just like essentially tried to body slam it, but like on its neck. So it's like body slam it, but biting down on the shoulder, neck, the first thing that comes into play, and just like that whole force trying to bring it down, and then knocking down more force onto the bite, like with using the ground essentially to push the body into the teeth as well.
Nice. So yeah, as you clamp down on this thing with all of your might, the face, head, difficult to say, of this thing kind of reaches up weakly right next to your ear. And as it starts to literally turn, not dust, but scabrous flecks of flesh in your grip, it whispers in your ear, "It'll never be yours." And it completely dissipates into the umbra. And as you look around, there are no other spirits. I mean, there are always spirits, but there are no other spirits seem to be taking an interest in. And all seems quiet.
That's
So,
done.
keeping in mind you do still technically have penumbral senses active for the rest of this scene. If anything comes up, or if you want to ask me any questions about the Umbra, feel free. But there are no more opponents apparent, and so at this point, it might be beneficial for Aaron and Lenexia to leave Crinus form before they frenzy.
Well, I will spend my last point of willpower to avoid going to frenzy, and then I will switch to Glabro form.
Gotcha.
You mean that wasn't them at their frenzies?
Yeah.
No,
It was hard to distinguish. I would have thought that was
not
frenzy.
That's not frenzy.
And just do my check. No successes, so lose a point of rage. Still got 1.
Okay.
And I will pick up the wolf and try to identify it. Is it Fenton?
It is Fenton.
Okay.
And
I'll
he
just
is
set it.
breathing.
And I just said to the others, we need to get out of here.
So, Lenexia, you'll need to spend a point of willpower to avoid going into frenzy, assuming you still have some.
Yes.
And then you can shift into whatever form you choose. It
She
will
doesn't need to
still...
spend one because she killed something last round. She's okay.
Oh, that's true. She did
Yeah.
kill something last
Yeah.
round. So no,
Yeah.
you don't. Take that point back if you already Very good point. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, wait. You killed something last round too.
Oh yeah, I did. Sorry.
Yeah,
Apologies.
so you get your point back.
Yeah. Double kill.
You got a double kill. Yeah. Same thing twice.
Kill the same thing twice in one round.
Yeah.
I think after...
But you still, depending upon what form you want to shift to, you may need to make a check roll. So.
I think it'll probably go back down to Lupus form.
Okay, so that's free.
Yeah, because if we know we've got Fenton, like, we're not chasing anything right now. So we'll go
When
back.
you shifted back to Glabro to check him, did you say that out loud, Aaron? It's Fenton?
Yes, I did. Yeah, we need to get out of it. It's Fenton. We need to get out of here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'll just go back down to Lupus form to travel.
Yep. And anything else? What are we doing? We're out of combat, so
I'm staring at Zev and seeing what he's doing.
Yeah, no, I'm like looking at all this carnage, looking at everything that's going on, looking at the one that left. I'm, you know, I'm gonna say I'm kind of at a little bit of a loss. It's a good time to mention that mechanically, because I participated in willfully destroying advanced technology, which includes a car, especially harmful to me. I will only gain back 1 willpower point.
Oh, I know.
Next game. So I'm looking at the destruction of these automobiles and these cars, and there's something almost primal in me that is regretting this, and I'm probably after the time of trying to look around to see if I could find where the driver went. I'm gonna start looking over the cars, and you see me, like, you know, fumbling with some wires and, you know, different pieces of metal there, and looking at it and kind of seeing, you know, kind of almost just getting into I've got to fix this, I can fix this technology. It's just very bizarre. You see me kind of divorcing myself from everything that happened.
You're dissociating.
Sinking into the technology that was just destroyed.
And it takes no rolls for you to determine, however long you find yourself obsessed with the condition of machines, they are irreparable what you have if you current. Like, there's no way you're going to get either of these vehicles running. The fact that it was basically like engine block to engine block at high speed. You know, Mitchell's Jeep might be reparable and drivable with some time and some additional tools that you don't have yet. But the white truck is toast. Like, the whole front end of it is wrecked. The frame would need to be replaced, and at that point, it's just total.
I'm guessing it was an older vehicle anyway, since there were no airbags. So yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll turn to Lenexia and say, what was that you were fighting?
Thing that controlled her. Before it died, it said, you will never get it? Was that?
It'll never be yours.
It'll never be yours. Okay. It said it will never be yours. And I don't understand what that means.
Well, you do have
I'll walk over to the body. I'll crouch down over it. I'll tear the chest open.
Oh.
Not the chest, the clothing.
Oh, okay.
And I'll
going straight for the rib cage again.
No. And I'll just I'll basically just turn my claw, and right where the heart is. I'll just turn my claw and just make a very small punch mark.
Okay.
And I'll stand up, and I'll say, great gear. Me and my pack send this evil spirit to your graces. One more evil ridden, one more despicable form removed from this plane of existence. We thank you for your support, and I'll just howl.
Awesome.
Oh.
Fulfilling his patron needs. Excellent. So while you're forming your rite of passing, you do note that she appears to be holding something in her fist. Also, I mean, it's possible you could, take a look over the truck and possibly her body to see if there's any indication or any other information.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. So the truck has, standard stuff in it, insurance cards. A couple of names are listed. Whether or not those names are actually the names of these people, difficult to say. But it might be something you can track down later. We don't have those names in. Otherwise, I'd give you an information after today. So there is some information in the truck, and you also managed to pull her license, and she has some cash. This is a person that seems to have had, an existence, as it were. The thing that you pull out of her hand, if you show it around, assumingly,
yep,
it becomes very apparent very quickly, particularly to Lenexia, that this is what's known as a talon. And a talon in Werewolf is essentially a limited use ritualistic item. This particular talon is an umbral shard, which is basically used to pierce a gateway into the Umbra for a person or people. Basically for a one-time passage into the Umbra. Your best guess is that she was going to attempt to use it to escape into the Umbra as she ran. So any of you can pocket that. It's not a free thing that you're going to get to keep, but it's a one-use thing. So you'll be able to use it at some point if you're choosing to basically tear it way into the Umbra.
Pass it to Lenexia.
Yeah, whether or not you're going to feel comfortable doing that, because you're essentially tearing a wound into Gaia, that's something. So that tool that wolves have used. No, is Lenexia saying no? I don't want to carry it.
No, I will carry it so nobody else uses it, but we won't use it. Because part of my whole thing is teaching people about the spirits and everything. So I'm going to teach them that you don't use it.
Right.
Essentially.
So, and it is a small enough thing. Essentially, basically, is imagine like a small, maybe not arrowhead size, but maybe like palm-sized shard of obsidian that seems to have almost like a full storm roiling inside of it. It's definitely something that you could pocket, and being of a spiritual nature, it will shift with you. That jazz, so not anything to worry about. But yeah, if you want to, or I can add to Lexia's character sheet, add that to the item. So yeah, you find some information on the shard. What else do?
Definitely make sure we take her ID and everything.
Okay, so you take the ID, you take the information from the truck, would assume as well. Okay.
It's
I'll probably write down plates.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Tony.
There's none of the names that we've seen on any of the pieces of paper we've been looking at last night?
No, they are not.
No.
No.
Okay.
No. Although, Jake, why don't you make a wits?
Investigation?
No, I don't think investigation is.
I mean, I think I recognize the white truck at least from the surveillance.
No. The surveillance video is like possibly a white, yellow, or beige Buick, not a truck. It wasn't
Oh, I see. Okay.
It was like a sedan
Okay.
or style sedan. Good call though. Insight. That's what I want. Wits and insight from you, Jake.
Okay.
Insight? What's that?
Insight. Well,
It's
this
like
this now allows me
internal
to
thought,
apply
memory, things like that.
that
that?
rule that I asked about, where I have more rage dice than I actually have skills in the combination. So,
So
see,
you're
I asked
just gonna
questions.
roll all
and
rage
it's-
dice.
Oh,
Okay.
is that motor oil I smell, or is that brake fluid?
Okay. So
Kinda hard to
something about the names is tickling memory, but maybe you're so frustrated, and you know that you've kind of done a slight to your patron spirit, and your patron is Spider. Reading that correct?
Spider.
Yeah. So you've kind of done a slight to your patron spirit, and just you're upset that the guy got away when you had just like seen him. So it's not coming through clear, but something about the names is tickling. Maybe it'll come back to you. Had a chance to get dropped, calm down. Speaking of which, how are you guys going to get off the boat? With a still, I should point out, just
I'm sorry. How are we going to?
get off the mountain. Vehicles aren't working.
Well,
not
that's
gonna
why
go
that's why I'm in Glabro form, so I can carry him more easily.
So you're going to carry Fenton. And you guys are
Yeah.
going to hike out.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
hike, basically. That's my plan.
Hike.
Yeah, I'm.
Hike at the speed of the slowest. Case would be Jake.
No. I mean, they're gonna go the way they like. I'll probably head back towards the highway. I imagine I'll have a little rucksack that I can put a few of the things from the Jeep inside. And what I'll
Start
do
whistling.
is I'll start to put my hand like this, and
Sure.
you guys will all see me like kind of try to hitchhike, and then there'll be that David Banner ending scene as he just moves towards the next town, probably.
I mean, we could do it that way if you want to. Actually, really funny in my brain. If
Well, as long as I'm amusing you, I mean, that's my goal here, really.
no, it's I just have this idea. It doesn't work because Aaron is carrying Fenton, and like you're gonna have to find a ride for because you can't carry him while you're in wolf form. But if you were able to, I just the thought of the two of you being in wolf form, being like, well, we'll see you back there, and you're just like hitchhiking, trying to get back. It's just
Yeah.
funny to me because you.
Well, we could
You know,
try this.
it is Saturday. People hike on Saturdays. I don't think it would be that,
So-
I knew we could.
We could try this. Fetch bounty. Find the
Ooh.
nearest parked car. One willpower,
Okay.
wit and wisdom.
You absolutely can try that.
Gives me no willpower left, like, but let's do it.
You haven't upset your patron spirit, so you'll get a decent amount of
Yeah.
willpower back next session.
Wits and wisdom. So that's 6. Don't get any bonuses. No.
So Zev and Lenexia see Aaron basically entreating a spirit to find something for him.
2 successes.
Yeah, that'll do it. So, 4 actually. No, 5. 5 successes because you got a crit there.
Yeah, it's 2 anyway for Akar. So yeah.
Right. So yeah, after a bit, right? Maybe you're all just kind of walking down the track on foot. The spirit returns, a hare spirit, we'll say, kind of hops out of the underbrush and comes up to you, manifests, and informs you that there is a house not too far down and off on a side track where there is a car parked.
Hey.
So we knock on the door and ask the guy for a ride into town?
It's not the way I do business, but if you want to do that, the car will probably be gone by the time you've done that. My thoughts are to put thingy somewhere down this track, Fenton, and then go and break into the car surreptitiously, hotwire it, get it down the track, load Fenton in, and then get out there. But who wants to do what to make this happen?
No, I mean, if that's the way that you want to handle it, nobody's going to gainsay you. That's fine.
But who wants to do what? Because there's a few jobs in there, isn't there? And volunteers.
Take part in stealing a car?
Well, you wouldn't have to take part. You guys could just hang out down the track.
Do you want to keep an eye on Fenton, Zev?
Yeah, I can keep an eye on Fenton. I mean, in his current form, sure.
And does Lynexia want to keep an eye out to make sure nobody comes out of the house or anything?
No,
Yeah.
Pro will do that.
Me and Crupper. But yeah, I'll just keep an eye out because I have no driving skill or
Okay,
knowledge
so I
whatsoever.
shall go for wolf form. I shall get to near this house, obviously, as long as the hare's told us the right directions.
Yeah.
And once the house is in sight, I'll move in stealthily to the car, and then break in and hotwire it.
So the house it looks maintained, but it currently looks as if it is empty. The car is cold, if you think to check the hood. It definitely has not been driven in a while. Takes no effort for you to hotwire this car. It's kind of an older model. There's not really any protections. And so it sparks a couple of times, and it seems like maybe the battery might be a little drained, but eventually you get it to catch. It revs up. We'll say it's, like probably another truck, to be honest. Being this far up in the mountains, older model, not quite as big as the white truck was. And in fact, as you're looking at it, there's no plates on it. So it looks like maybe somebody was just using this for local travel. Maybe just a mountain person not going out of their way to get tags and, pay property tax and things like that. And yeah, you drive back down the track. You're able to pick everybody up. At least two people or one person, I guess, with Fenton's still sleeping form will need to be in the back as you ride back down. But you should be able to get back to your safe house, no trouble. And at this point, it's probably mid-afternoon.
We just stole a vehicle from a freeman? We're in big trouble. A freeman.
Like
A Freemason.
No, freeman, the people that don't pay taxes, that don't pay government, registration, healthcare, anything like that.
Believe in the healthy militia.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it could be an issue if it comes to that, but no, it's the whole point of that gift is to basically enable him to have access to things that are helpful. So being tied to the gift, you're not going to have any trouble. But it's not something permanent you want to keep either. So
no,
after you guys get back to your safe house, you probably take it somewhere and leave.
Yeah, I'll once I've got everybody safe back to safe house, I'll take it off. Sort of a mile away, dump it in the woods, and wolf form back to the house.
Sure, yeah. Okay, so you return to the house, safe house. Like I said, it's probably getting on afternoon now at this point after the hijinks on the road and the chase.
Did
You've
we
got
actually
Fenton
go
back,
to bed?
though.
Did we actually go to bed, or did we just power through?
Oh
No,
no,
we
I
slept.
thought you guys slept. Yeah,
Yeah, we slept for a
Slept,
couple of
yeah.
hours.
that was my understanding. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, good remember.
Yeah, it was one of them. So went going back in the morning. It was one for more light and two hopes that the weather would ease up, but no.
Right. Had you gone back in the evening, not have the cops be there, you guys decided to wait. So yeah, I need to make a quick note for myself about some information for together. But yeah, unless there's anything else you talk about, think about, ask questions about, I think that's about all we have today.
I think the only thing I definitely need to do, but you don't have to do it now, is I will be wanting to do a Right of Forgetful record for all that hijinks.
Sure, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's
But if you want to
certainly
do that
something we
next session, that's fine.
Yeah, you probably want to do that with Fenton awake, because it's going to be easier with all four of you doing it as opposed to just three of you.
Is
So
somebody just going to poke Fenton a lot until he wakes up?
I can tell you right now, you can tell it seems like he's under the effects of a relatively potent drug or perhaps poison of some kind. Maybe something different. Difficult to say. But yeah, let's go ahead and go through our experience really. Get that out of the way and then call it a night. So everybody gets a point of experience for participation.
Yay!
Did anybody perform something session
Yeah, well,
that the table
both.
appreciates?
I think everyone. I think literally everyone. Like
I agree.
Zahev actually. I think we were making good headway on stopping the truck, but Zahev really brought that to an end.
Yeah, I love that.
And obviously
personally, I love that,
wound
yeah.
his patron up by doing so. So there was some sacrifice there.
Yes.
Yep.
From a man that refuses to sacrifice anything, he finally sacrificed something. Yeah, so I think Zahev definitely does, and then obviously myself and Alexia were doing fighty stuff.
Yeah, I love the
Yeah, and I
drop
really
and
enjoyed
roll
the
into
pace
the
of that. Yeah,
Cronus, yeah.
absolutely. So yeah, okay, everybody gets a
Nice.
there. Any skill, gift, or trait used in a clever way? Or critical way? Critical is an interesting point. as
Finding the truck to get us off the mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was good. That definitely I wasn't expecting. So not that it's bad. Like I had kind of forgotten that you had that gift. So that was really good.
I think Lenexia fighting the spirit was crucial, and being able to see it
Agreed.
and
Agreed.
understand it. That was.
So I think Lenexia definitely gets a point as well. I can't really think of anything for Zev.
No, nothing yet.
How about
Just the way I'm trying to play it, by the way. That's on purpose.
I mean,
Yeah.
you're doing a great job. So Jake, tell me something important that Zev learned this session.
The phone call that Jessica got when she said it's the police has given me now a sinking feeling in my stomach that something is happening now that can't be procrastinated, avoided, corrected, or fixed. Now she knows.
Sure.
And she is the closest thing that I have to, I guess, protection in this city, in this world. And, you know, like, she's my... ultimately, I failed her in that I knew, but now she also knows, meaning there's no way for this to ever be a cliffhanger for her. Well, I haven't heard from him, but there's still hope, and, you know, maybe he just moved away somewhere or joined a cult, and, you know, I'll still have a chance to see him before, you know, like, so that sinking realization that his anchor has been severely impacted by the loss of a child
Yeah.
is pretty significant to me.
Okay. Very good. So take a point for that. How about Longy? Did Aaron learn anything?
I think-
in this session.
I think my character is being taken in a different way. I expect it to be taken by this story and the way that the pack's interacting. So the intention was to continue to play this as a bit of a loner, and just always sort of stealthing around, being on the periphery, things like that. But it's not panning out that way at all. So what I'm learning is Aaron's finally got a sense of belonging, and he's figuring out that he will do literally anything to keep this pack together.
Nice, I love it. Take a point for that. And Lenexia, has she learned anything important this session?
I think for Lenexia it's learning that there's so much more. There's more kin. Like the fact that it literally just ran up against somebody it's come from the same town. Well, in this town where everything's going on. It's like, so something is calling this kin, but like they don't know, because they don't know until it actually happens when the kid.
Right.
So it's like, so like she's now thinking that when like she needs to do the rite of kinship to find these people, to bring them into our pack, to bring them into safety with us before these spirits, this human monster is able to get to them. So I think on that level it's just learning that she was so used to being alone, and now she's got it's similar to what Iris said, but now she's got packs. Like, now we need all of them. We need to protect them all.
And I love that she's thinking that. I will expand that though, and tell you, and you might know this a little bit from your interaction with the Sept, that not all kin unaware.
Okay.
Sometimes, not always, but sometimes if Guru can find kinfolk and approach them and talk to them and make them understand, then sometimes the kin will actually kind of join a sept or a pact as like they're still just human. Like you can't
like a ghoul with a vampire sort of thing.
You can't force them into
like
their first
symbiotic
change.
Yeah.
But they sometimes, if you're aware of them and can get them to believe, they might join you and act as like allies. So there probably are a few kinfolk, for example, in the Sept in Denver. But obviously you're a small enough pack that you've not yet contacted any kinfolk or found any. But again, it sounds like you're looking to, so that's awesome. Definitely something Lenexia would be interested in, being probably out of everybody pack mentality, since you came being first.
Yeah, I think this is probably the first time since leaving the pack that she's felt like having, like she's got this family, this pack again. So, yeah.
Okay, well that is it for today. I think, well, like I said, that's it. We'll call it there.